Start things off, though, we have Fraser Hayes from way up the hill at CFUR, our friends at CFUR, the university radio station. And Fraser, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Welcome to Morning Break. This is what, show number 4.
First week wrapping up.
I think I'm getting used to it. Scary.
Getting used to getting up that early.
Yeah, well, it's not so much getting up that early, it's staying up. I get up every morning around, 10 after 5. But usually I go back for a nap. Yep. So staying up is a little hard to get used to. Let's talk about CFIR for a little bit. You guys have been around for a while. How old is CFIR now?
So we got our license on January 6th of 2000. So yeah, we've been operating at low power until just 2 years ago. We got our bump up to 510 watts. So our signal is sounding a little bit better.
Yeah. 14 years though.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been going really well. We have lots of long-term host guys like Greg the Egg from Air Guitar.
Air Guitar. I told him he should call his show Hard Boiled.
Yeah.
Because he does rock. But
yeah, that's good.
Hey, that's better. Or Cracked.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, so Greg's Air Guitar. We have Darcy's Bad Not Cheap and In the Mosh Pit, which are our 3 longest running shows.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, always new students, new faces around the university.
Yeah, I guess that would be one of the challenges is such turnover that you are constantly getting new shows, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we've been trying to build up our community hosts as much as possible so that we have some consistent programming through the year. Yeah. Because there is so much turnover with the student population.
Then switch out the old and new as the students change.
That's right.
Some of them. Yeah. Talk a little bit about the programming at CFIR. It's kind of a block programming format, isn't it?
Yeah, we do our best to do that. It's pretty hard. We really try and focus on Northern BC music.
Right.
So that means that we have a varied programming because there's so many different styles that get played up here in Northern BC. But that really is our focus. Beyond that, we try and play as much independent Canadian music as possible. Yeah. And yeah, it's a we play to our demographic, which is a younger demographic than you guys here, which is why we complement each other so well.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and it's we have kind of a hip hop night on Thursdays and things like that. But yeah, it's a varied programming, I would say.
Well, you mentioned a lot of independent Canadian artists. That's one thing I noticed when starting this station is there's a lot out there, isn't there?
There are, especially now that it's so easy to access new bands with digital submissions of albums and things like that. So we just get a ton of stuff, and our music director is always very busy listening to album after album. So
yeah, that we get a lot of music submissions as well, but we're more keyed to the oldies, and the newer stuff sort of I just throw it in a file that someday we'll look at it.
Someday it'll be an oldie.
Because it's exactly. But it's full time just to listen to all these.
It is,
all these submissions, isn't it?
It's one of the better jobs in the world to have, I think.
Well, for sure, you sit around listening to music all day and decide thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
So
you have the
someone's career hangs in your. It's at least for one station.
It's true.
Let's talk a little bit about your background. Where are you from, and how did you end up in Prince George?
Sure. Yeah, I'm from Edmonton originally. I grew up just outside Edmonton in a small town called St. Albert.
Yeah.
So I grew up there. I ended up leaving to go and live in the mountains for a couple of years after that, and moved down to Nelson and Castlegar down in the Kootenays to start my school. And I came up here to finish my degree in natural resource management.
Oh, yeah. Started
volunteering at CFUR and just started answering phones, and eventually they decided to give me a job.
Put you in charge.
Yeah.
I was going to say natural resource management. That's quite a stretch from radio.
Yeah, it's true. I've been trying to figure out what the connection is, but
What kind of show did you, like when you were volunteering, were you just answering phones or were you doing a show?
I was doing a jazz history show.
Oh, nice.
So I was playing songs older than you guys play here.
Wow. Well, not as old as the ones Corey plays, but I'll believe you play older than what we regularly play.
Yeah, right.
So then how long ago was that you first started volunteering up at CFUR?
It was 5 years ago now.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
okay.
And they hired me as kind of a station director 3 years ago.
Right.
And then I moved into the station manager role 2 years ago.
And things have progressed, hasn't it? You've actually got some staff and whatnot now. You've actually expanded the number of people on payroll up there.
That's right. Yeah. So the biggest thing that helped that along was we had a student referendum to increase our student fees 2.5 years ago.
Right.
So that allowed us to have one full-time staff, which was me as the station manager. Before that, it was a part-time job for everyone. So,
yeah,
it's hard to have a cohesive kind of long-term goal planning and stuff like that when you don't have any full-time staff, because everyone is a little bit transient. So that was a huge change for CFUR, and it allowed me to spend more time hunting down grants and things like that, as you and I talked about,
to be able to develop some more staff.
That's right. Yeah,
exactly.
So now we have 2 part-time staff. Our music director, program director.
Yeah.
Our music director is Jordan Tucker. She does a great job. She's graduating this year, so we're going to be maybe on the hunt for a new employee.
Hoping she stays in Prince George. Is
yeah,
what you're thinking.
That's right. And Ian Gregg is our program director. He's a very busy guy. He does a great job.
Yeah.
He works in an elementary school in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And at CFIR in the evening. So he does all our orientation and training of new hosts. So he's a teacher in both parts of his life.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And then we just got funding to hire a full-time live performance producer, which has really been the focus for CFIR over the last year and a bit, to do live studio performances. So we're really lucky to have someone in there full-time now to take care of those things.
Right. So that'll be for local artists to come in and do like a talk show or
mostly
a performance
live
show?
Yeah, performances in our studio. So we just started to develop the Northern BC audio archive 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And that it was just a way for us to start to talk about how we can make sure that all this music that's produced in Northern BC gets kept somewhere.
Yeah.
We can give the community access to it. So that was the kind of impetus for starting the live performance project, where we can actually add to the archive ourselves by producing videos with Northern BC musicians performing in our studio.
Right. So
that was where it started from, and we've been having a lot of fun with it.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I know that's one thing, being a quote-unquote oldie station is, and of course with the CRTC you have to play a certain amount of Canadian content, and I look back through the chart books and I'm thinking, okay, where do I find all this stuff? Because you can't.
Yeah.
It's the toughest thing to find is old Canadian content, because it's all gone. Unless you were a big hit in the States as well, you can't find it.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's rough.
Yeah, that makes it hard when I did my jazz show at CFIR, that was trying to meet any sort of Canadian content rules was next to impossible, unless they played Oscar Peterson all day. Which some people might like, but...
Yeah, here's another one from Oscar Peterson, because we need to meet that 15% requirement.
That's right, yeah.
So, looking ahead, what do you see on the horizon for CFIR?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the immediate future, we're going to be quite busy with the Canada Winter Games. We're going to have access to a lot of the arts, the festival side of the games, to do interviews and some performances with some of the out-of-town acts that are here. Beyond that, we have a mandate through our funding for this full coming year to produce 25 in-studio sessions with musicians, and also 6 feature film, sort of short film style things also with local musicians. And that'll be, we have a few people like Rachel Van Zanten, Raghu Lokanathan, Rob Dunlop, are 3 that we're working on right now. Also, Twin Peaks is a band from Fort St. John that we're working with. So basically, they're just going to be a look at the kind of rise of these people in the Canadian music scene, and you know, just telling their story in a short film style thing.
Nice.
So yeah, we're trying to bring as much stuff online as we can. You know, as we all know, radio has always had kind of a rocky footing. You never know. They've been saying radio is going to die for the last 100 years, but
yeah.
So we're trying to make sure.
Well, radio's going to die if we keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But if we keep innovating like you guys are doing, yeah, you're going to survive. Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's my thought is it's so much easier just to turn on the radio than to sit down and load up an MP3 player and plug it in, or any other thing. You know, it's just putting on a radio station. Simple.
Absolutely.
Right?
And local community stations like ours, like what you guys do. You guys have great content as far as, well, I love the music. I listen to CFIS probably more than I should as the station manager of CFUR, but you know, the fact that you guys do community news and things like that, I think that's something that will always
No,
be.
exactly.
So
yeah, you got to have the local stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, we're just about out of time. Anything else you want to pass along? I guess we should tell people where to find you on the dial. We've said CFUR, CFUR, but if they want to check it out at some point, and what show would one of our listeners tune into and not want to turn it off right away?
Okay.
Give us an example of
well,
something
we share
like that.
a few hosts.
We do, yeah.
Earl does a blues guy sort of thing at CFUR.
Yeah.
He also does the Troubadours. So those two shows are great.
The Troubadours.
The Troubadours, yeah. He features
kind of a
Canadian musicians that are traveling.
Oh, okay.
You know, that are always on the road, kind of thing. Also, Billy Ollinger.
Yeah.
He's got his Billy O Rock show and the Billy O Country Hoedown.
Oh yeah.
So those are Wednesday evening, starting at 8 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah.
Our schedule is online at CFUR.ca, and you can find us on the dial at 88.7 FM.
88.7 FM.
That's right. Yeah.
And then remember to tune back to 93.1 after you're listening, and you go, okay, I know what they're doing.
Switch
exactly. Back. Okay, well, let's call it. Thank you for coming in, Fraser.
Absolutely.
It's great, and we'll undoubtedly run into each other over the next 2 weeks, as I'm looking forward to a lot of the performances as well for the next 2 weeks for Cold Snap / Winter Games, and it's going to be intense and a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more on Morning Break.